Hi everyone, it's Manaz here. So I wanted to dive right into it and start talking to you about astrology. When an astrologer asks you for your birth time, your date of birth, and location of birth, it's so that we can cast a chart and see exactly what was going on in the sky and where the planets are located at the time of your birth. A lot of people don't have their birth time. There are ways around this. There are rectification methods where you'll have to share a lot of personal life experiences with the astrologer, and then that specialized astrologer will try to narrow down your exact moment of birth. Or we can actually still look at your birth chart. We will know what's happening and how it's happening, but not necessarily where in the chart is happening. We also won't be able to know the exact location of your moon, which is a huge part of your identity, is your emotions, and also the rising sign. The rising sign is your actual true identity. It's your physical body. It's the first house of your chart. It's the first house of any chart. So in my case, I know what my birth time is. I was born on June the 15th, 1979 in London, UK, and so at 3:37 p.m. And so I am a Libra rising. Libra is ruled by the planet Venus. Every single zodiac sign has a ruling planet. So although my first house is in Libra, I give off this very Venusian vibe when people meet me. I physically have the Libra attributes. I'm very tall. I'm told I'm very graceful. I'm told I'm very feminine. And I'm told I'm very attractive or pretty, you can say. And these are very Libra rising qualities. But Libra is also the scales of justice. That means we come across as we try to be very balanced, often to our own detriment, because a lot of Libra risings don't know how to say no, because we want to keep things in balance, we want to keep things peaceful. So it's often to our own detriment too. So how the energies manifest in your rising sign are very different from your sun sign. So a sun Libra is different than a first house rising Libra. Anybody who knows me knows that I like everything very graceful, very prim. I love wearing dresses. I'm very feminine. As I'm getting older, I'm leaning more into my Libra Venusian energies. So that's what an astrologer is going to do when they look at your chart. They want to see what is your rising sign. But on top of that, we have to see where is Venus actually located in your chart. And are there any planets sitting in your first house? So although Libra sounds lovely, it is a lovely energy to have, my chart ruler being Venus is kind of not doing too great in my chart. I have a square from Saturn and a square from Moon hitting my Venus. So my Venus is not naturally feeling very good. My Venus is heavily restricted. My Venus isn't feeling loved. My Venus is not necessarily, there's that lack of self-love, that lack of self-caring, because I'm getting these hard energies from Saturn and the moon on it as well. I do have a nice aspect coming from Jupiter. And that's what an astrologer is going to do. They're going to look at what is happening to your planetary ruler. So although everything sounds lovely about being a Libra rising, my Venus isn't doing too great in my chart. So in my case, it actually manifested as huge total lack of self-confidence, total lack of self-esteem. And I'll talk more about that as we discuss why, because it's being hit by Saturn and the moon. So these are things that I had to learn how to overcome in time. Now, I just turned 46 years old on the weekend. So at this point in my life, I have made leaps and bounds from where I was even like 5 years ago. Like I am just, but there are reasons why I'm able to slowly and very, very painfully, because Saturn is a block. So I'm up against blockages that I've had to overcome. And these blockages are often due to environment having their effect on me. And I have to find a way to build that inner confidence. Now, when you have harsh aspects to your Venus, like I do, the square to from Saturn to Venus and a square from the moon, that is often results in looking for that love from other sources. So, and constantly trying to prove yourself because you're hoping for that recognition and that love. And instead, you're left disappointed over and over and over and over again. And it's until you change your pre-programmed patterns of behavior where you're constantly looking for that love from other sources. Slowly change your patterns of behavior. Learn to find that love within yourself and that self-love, that self-acceptance, that self-caring. Because when Saturn and the moon are in a very tough aspect to Venus, you're not going to naturally care for yourself. You're not. You're not going to have that naturally within you. And there are people in my life who really don't understand that because they have that naturally. Whereas for me, it's been a huge, huge struggle to my detriment. These aspects really need you to understand the concept of compassion and empathy, not just for yourself, but being able to recognize it in other people. If other people don't exhibit compassion and empathy, they're going to really, really, really highlight these tough aspects against your Venus. This is very narcissistic energies who don't have empathy and compassion. Narcissists are all about themselves. And unfortunately for me, I've been around narcissists my whole life, and I end up attracting narcissistic men as well. So I'm at the point now where if I don't see compassion and empathy from people, I am taking that step back. Out the door. I don't want it in my life because that's already my struggle. I have to have self-compassion and empathy, but also be around compassionate and empathetic people who are able to just really display that care and consideration for other human beings. So yeah, that's a long rant about my first house, but then that's not where it stops. An astrologer is going to also look at, are there any planets sitting in your first house? So in my case, I have Pluto sitting in my first house, and Pluto is the god of the underworld. It completely destroys your personality and ego and lets you be reborn much stronger and better. So I have always actually said this about myself many times in my life, where I feel like I've gone through a death and, you know, I'm kind of reborn. And I've always said that I'm like a phoenix. Like before I even got into astrology, I was like, I am like a phoenix. I am a phoenix. Things that normally destroy people may destroy me, but I'm not gone. I come back strong. Pluto is the planet that helps you evolve as well. So fortunately, in my case, Pluto is making a beautiful aspect to the sun. And it's in I believe a sextile or it's in a trine to the sun. And You know, I'm at this age very grateful for this aspect because it allows me to evolve. It allows your ego to dissolve, evolve, and grow. Not everyone has this aspect. The people who are narcissists, who don't have empathy and compassion, they do not have these aspects to the sun. So, you know, we also have to look at that's happening in your first house. Pluto also in the first house gives you a very strong energy. So people can feel you as soon as you walk into a room. People can feel, and I've had this has been tough. Like when you're a kid in high school or elementary school and you walk into a room and people are just like, ooh, ooh, right? It's hard. It's really hard. It's tough because I don't have anyone talking to me when I was little. Like I have to figure this out on my own. And I didn't know how to because my Venus was getting punched, right? So it's a tough aspect to have as a kid. But as you grow older, you know, you learn your energies, understand your energies, and you can make it work for you. So in my case, I made myself like, and I started doing this in high school. Super nice. Super sweet. But that's also not a good thing because I was caving into the Venus square moon and Saturn. I made myself very subservient. But that was also my way of trying to balance this weird energy I have going on. You know, the same people who are just like, no. There are other people who, when they like you or care about you, they with their heart and soul like you and care about you. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do when we go through your charts. And that's my first house. I do have a tough aspect from Pluto to Mercury. But I'm going to talk about that when we get to Mercury. I'm not going to talk about that yet. So tell me what your first house is and take a look at your chart. And I'm going to quickly show you what my chart is as well on all these aspects so you can get a visual. Hi everyone. So as promised, here is my chart. So a chart is divided into 12 houses. And every house has a meaning. Every single house has a meaning. And the 12 houses are in every single person's charts. So my first house is Libra. And you can see Pluto is sitting there, like I said, is making a really nice aspect to the sun. And the moon actually is supporting this. So the fact that I can learn from my pain, which my pain is, Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus is getting heavily beaten up by Saturn and the moon. Heavy beating up. And then on top of that, the moon is opposite Saturn. So there are layers to me being beaten up. And these obviously have meanings as well, Saturn and the moon. I'm not going to talk about that yet. We'll get to that as we go through my chart. But this Pluto has allowed me to really learn and evolve. And I'm so grateful for this aspect because, like I said, not everyone has it. I'm going to say it's quite rare to have an aspect like that. But remember what I said, if you have Venus and Saturn in a hard aspect, if you have Saturn and the moon in a hard aspect, and the moon and Venus, all of these are interplaying and they're really not helping you feel good. You need to understand compassion, empathy, and you need to be around people who have compassion and empathy. Just a side note, my moon is in Pisces. Pisces is different from the sun Pisces. Moon Pisces, our feelings are like the depth of the ocean. We feel everything. We can feel every single mood. So another reason why you have to be around compassionate people and empathetic people and caring people. Until next time.